I've been running Scotland Shop for over 21 years, helping people to create custom-made clothing in their favourite tartan. Every year we're asked, we're going to a Burns night, what should we wear? Well, rules, there are no rules. You can wear whatever you like. It depends on the formality of the occasion and also perhaps your host has set a dress code. Today we're going to give you some inspiration, advice and guidance on what you should wear for Burns night to make your evening really special. So do you want to go old school and wear the Fila More, the Great Kilt? Contrary to popular belief, the Great Kilt was not worn by the brave-hearted William Wallace. In fact, it wasn't until the 16th century that this plaid garment began to resemble the Great Kilt. It's a bit different to the kind of kilt we wear today in that it was just really a long piece of fabric. The Great Kilts of the 18th century can also be described as a belted plaid. That's what Toby's going to demonstrate for us now, where a long piece of fabric is held together by a belt of some kind. If you want to make your own, you'll need about 8 yards of fabric. The fabric is basically hand pleated, wrapped over the shoulder and fastened with the belt each time it's worn. Though this may seem like a lot of work for modern day kilt wearers, this also allowed the kilt to be transformed to include a hood against the lovely Scottish weather or a blanket to sleep under. And if it's a full formal event, a black tie event, then you're going to want to wear the full kilt outfit with a Prince Charlie jacket and waistcoat. This is what Toby's wearing. Now let's talk a little bit about the kilt and some of the pitfalls of the kilt. If you're not a connoisseur of the kilt, then there's a few things to keep in mind. The most important thing is the length. So you want your kilt to sit mid-kneecap. A short kilt is going to look like a little skirt and a long kilt just ruins the look. When you wear your kilt, you want to wear it much higher than your normal trousers. You want to wear it 1 inch above the tummy button or navel.
The accessories to go with your outfit vary, and it depends how you want to approach it. So one of the first pieces of accessories is the sporran. Great bit of kit. What I'm wearing here is a formal sporran, okay? Now in the days gone by, what you'd store in your sporran would have been your lunch, would have been your weapons, would have been any number of things. But modern day times, what are we keeping it? A mobile phone, car keys. It's just a perfect hip flask, of course. Yep, we would keep our hip flask in there as well. It's a perfect accessory. It's really useful. Now, this is a formal one. You can go anywhere up to an informal plain leather one. There's pattern, there's tartans. You can have an animal skin, animal fur, anything like that. Okay. Next, we've got the kilt pin. Now, many people think the kilt pin's there to literally pin the kilt shut. It's not. As you can see here, it sits and serves as a weight on the corner of the fabric. Sits 3 finger widths in, 2 finger widths up, and it holds the kilt in a sort of weight in the corner, okay?
Can I tell the story of Queen Victoria? So Queen Victoria was in Edinburgh and she noticed that some of her soldiers in the front row, that one of them, his kilt was blowing up. So she took the brooch from her jacket and she pinned it to the gentleman's kilt to hold his kilt down, and that is supposedly where the kilt pin began.
Exactly. So then we move on to the ski and do, everyone's favourite accessory. Small knife sits in the right hand sock. Now this dates back from when we carried it there, but when we went to our friend's house to show we were unarmed, in the same way that's the reason we shake hands to show we're not carrying our sword. For these purposes, for the ski and do, we take it out and it sits in our right sock. So it's still there in case it gets a bit sketchy, but it means it's on show and we're safe.
So moving down the outfit, you can wear kilt flashes. Toby's wearing a pair of flashes that tone in with the kilt, so picking out one of the colours in the stripes in the kilt, but you can also have them in tartan. But what are the kilt flashes for? Well, they're totally functional, because in the old days when they used to run around in the Highlands, it was to hold your socks up. So it would be a long piece of ribbon tied tight, and the ends would hang down, and that's now been replicated with the flashes you see today. But the flashes also had another reason. If you wore your flashes on show, that meant it was a sign of your marital status. That meant that you were available So Toby, if you're out on the pool tonight, then you've got to have your flashes on show. If you were a married man, then you kept your flashes hidden, tucked into your sock. Something people always struggle with or ask us about is how to tie the long laces. Why do we have these great big long laces? So the long laces are again very practical and there to hold your socks in place. But as you can see, they have many twists in them. So there's different ways of tying your socks and everyone has their own rules. One of the most interesting facts, I always think, is where you tie the knot. Now, if you're from the north of Scotland, you would tie the knot on the front of the leg. If you're from the east of Scotland, you would tie it on the east side of the leg. And that's why you see people with their knots tied in different places. If it's a less formal occasion or you just don't fancy wearing the full jacket and waistcoat, then the ghillie shirt is a great option. And what we've done is to pair that with a leather sporran, which is a less formal sporran and a day wear, more traditionally a day wear item. Now, panning down to the shoes, you might wonder why the shoes have holes in them. Where did the broguing come from? So this is because Scotland, as you know, is a very wet and marshy country. And in the days gone by, the shoes used to have holes in them to allow the water to pass through them so that then they could dry out quickly. They also had no tongue, which, as you see, the kilt shoes don't have either. And that was again to allow the shoes to dry out more quickly. And if you want to go really casual, then the Aran sweater is the perfect option with its beautiful cable knit design. So I feel that the ladies have been a little sidelined in this discussion, but there's lots of options on what you can wear. And if you've got a really lovely dress that you always like to wear, then the most simple thing to add is a sash. So this sash is in the Burns check tartan, so very topical. And there's lots of ways you can wear it. Now, unless you are the wife of a chieftain, then you will want to wear, or I think the other thing is if you're the wife of the colonel of a regiment, then you can wear your sash across your left shoulder. The rest of us would wear our sash on the right shoulder, and there's quite a few different ways you can wear your sash. So, if you want, just pop it over your right shoulder and knot it on the hip, nice and easy. Or you could pin it on the hip with a brooch. The other way to wear it is to double it over if you want a nice look from the back. You can gather it up. There's a really nice video online on how to do this. And we would just pin it here on the right shoulder.
There you go. So if you really want to go for that matchy-matchy, you've got the Burns check bow tie to go with your partner's Burns check sash. You can add to that something like a pocket square to go in the top jacket of your dinner jacket. And of course, if you're not feeling into wearing the kilt, you want to stick with the trousers, you can go with the cummerbund also in the Burns check as well to really complete that look.
Now to the origins of the Burns check tartan. You might be wondering, what tartan can I wear? You can wear any tartan you like. You can wear your family tartan, you can wear one you picked up in the charity shop and you haven't got a clue which one it is. The tartan police are not going to come after you if you're wearing their clan. But we'll give you a little bit of story about the Burns check tartan, which, very smart I have to say, and so easy to coordinate with whatever you've already got in your wardrobe. So where did the Burns check tartan come from? Well, the name Burns is linked to the Campbell clan, and originally they were going to base the set on the Campbell clan tartan, but it was then decided that actually it should be based upon the shepherd check, which is the black and white check. And then they overlaid a little bit of brown as a nod to the hodden grey and all that. And then there's a tiny bit of green, which represents the green pastures of the Dumfries and Galloway area. So there's many different ways that you can celebrate Burns Night, and there's many different ways you can wear your tartan, whichever tartan you want, to add a Scottish accent to the evening. So please have fun with your tartan. Don't worry about the rules. Don't worry about how you should cook the neeps and tatties. It's all about enjoying the Scottish history and the traditions. And we hope this video helped you to do that.